Wow. Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight. I'm really quite moved by the response that we've had. I especially am just so grateful to NAMI for coming to the group homes aid in the darkest hour that I have seen, through divestiture and MCO transition and reform. This is really going to be our greatest challenge to date. Whether the intention was for that to actually be our challenge, it still remains to be seen. But basically, what is going on, there are two different things that are happening, and they are both coming right in at the group homes. My colleagues here can tell us about the timing a little bit more. But the first thing that's happening, or one of the things that's happening, is that group homes, including licensed group homes, so including 5600A group homes, are going to be assessed to see if they are institutions of mental disease. I understand that that's based on some very archaic language, because this is sort of a very old thing that's been on the books for a long time that previously maybe has not been enforced. So agencies are going to be assessed to see whether or not they have more than 16 beds that are serving people with mental illness, and that distinction is going to be made by whether or not they're on antipsychotic medications or medications to treat mental illness rather than by straight-up diagnoses. And those beds do not have to be in the same facility. So that means that agencies that have multiple facilities, and my colleagues can correct me if I'm wrong later, so if they have multiple facilities that make up 16 beds. And one of the main ways that agencies have stayed in the business this long is by having multiple programs. So this is a very common thing. Most larger agencies do have multiple locations. Those larger agencies are going to be your most likely ones to be accredited. You're going to have your more skilled staff most likely working at those particular agencies. So the 5600As have gotten sort of thrown in there with what we think more as being IMDs, which would be the larger nursing home type places. So that's going to happen. So when that happens, if an agency is found to be an IMD, the clients that live in those facilities are going to, basically their Medicaid is going to be frozen. So they'll still be eligible if they lived elsewhere, but if they choose to continue to live in the facility where they have been living, perhaps for many, many years, perhaps in a place that they very much think of it as their home, they will no longer be able to have their treatment paid for by Medicaid, even emergency services. So that's one thing. So if clients have to move out of those facilities, we will have no more customers. So group homes will close, the big ones. Wait, go back. Second thing that's happening is that personal care services, which is something that I just found out has been supplementing group home income since, what did you say, 1997? For a long time. The eligibility criteria for that is going to be changed as of January 1, 2013. And the new criteria says that the people that receive these funds need to require hands-on assistance. And it's that hands-on part that pretty much makes mental health group homes not eligible, or the people that live in them not eligible, because it is on individuals rather than on the agency. So, as we will see in just a minute, PCS makes up about 30% of the income coming into a group home. So without that 30%, the smaller group homes will close. All right, I'm ready if you're ready. Can you go to the next slide? So this is just a real basic kind of budget here. Some group homes do it a little bit differently than this, but this just sort of gives you an idea. I mean, it doesn't even add up to start off with right now. So the loss of more funds is really scary. It's very scary. So, you know, how I did some of these numbers is like the staffing there, that 5,900 number, that's if you take 720 hours, which is in a month, and you do it by minimum wage. So if you're just going to pay somebody minimum wage to staff that group home 24 hours a day, it's going to cost you $6,000, and that's for one staff person. So that's not even having a QP, that's not even having a director, or any of more skilled folks. You know, the only places to cut are food, staffing, potentially utilities, obviously activities and outings, those are gone right away. So I just sort of wanted you guys to see what we're talking about. We're not talking about very much money. I mean, to house and feed 6 grown people, that's a difficult thing to do without money. So if you could go to the next slide, just so you can have an idea of what that is. So I just really want to bring home the idea that group homes really do save the system money. They really, as you so eloquently put what your group home does for you, I was very touched by that. We do for our residents as well, and so do many of you, because I see there's a lot of providers here as well. We keep people out of hospital. I mean, that's really like plain and simple. The hospital is expensive. Having somebody in your home who is there when you wake up in the middle of the night because you had a nightmare and now you have anxiety and you need somebody to talk to and so forth, keeps people out of the hospital. Having somebody there when you come home from your day programming where you had a really bad afternoon, keeps people out of the hospital. It's a very essential part of the continuum of care. Not everybody can live in their own apartments directly coming from hospitals. And even some folks won't ever necessarily be able to live independently.